This is Johnny and Jose with Tiger Bomb MMA, aka the Fight Night Spits. Back together again. Jose, you've been away for some time now doing the Lord's work.
I am, riding that bike with, the rest of my elders has been, pretty satisfying. We've gotten through to a lot of people, got a lot of doors slammed in our faces, but, doing the Lord's work, and nobody ever said it was be easy. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to have you back for this interesting card. We've got Krylov versus Spann taking place at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. You're not too far from there now, right? You're in Arizona, enjoying your time out there?
yeah, it's interesting out here. It kind of feels like, Vegas a little bit, but feels more like Corona, Corona,
Oh.
California.
So bland and hot?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got 13 bouts, and we'll get through these. These aren't necessarily the best fights. Like doing research on these myself, it felt like they're all really, really close. Like there's a lot of underdog plays here that you can consider. But overall, it's like not, at least in my opinion, the best card to bet just because like I see a lot of 50-50 matchups here. There's a lot of weird possibilities that could occur. And I'm not feeling it, to be honest. I do have two bets on this card already, just like taking a shot on them. But we'll get started with the first fight of the night. This is a bantamweight bout. We've got Jose Johnson, who is no longer No Way Jose Johnson. He is Lobo Solitario Johnson, aka Spanish for Lone Wolf. He should fucking lose just for that versus Garrett Armfield. And the odds currently have it in favor of Armfield, minus 160. Come back on Jose Johnson, plus 135. What I can say about these guys is that this is one of these fights that could be a little, to me, it seemed a little close based off of like the attributes of Johnson. To me, I'll be frank, Johnson fucking sucks. Johnson does not belong in the UFC. I've seen Johnson do some horrible things outside the UFC, but I think they took pity on him. And during the Contender Series, they gave him a shot just because he didn't get finished and he looked semi-impressive, getting out wrestled and then going for triangles that didn't land and getting on top, just getting a little bit of damage out there. On the other hand, Garrett Armfield, to me, even though he came in on short notice, he fought David Onama. He looked pretty good in that first round moving up. He fought at featherweight. Now he's coming back down to bantamweight. Guy's pretty fucking solid. I like his boxing. His boxing's beautiful. He's a little flaky. And what I mean by that, he's been submitted a few times. Like I've seen a fight where he was absolutely dominating a dude on the feet. And then the second round, he's still dominating the dude, but he makes a bit of a boneheaded mistake. His back gets taken and he gets choked in a rear naked choke. What I did like is that he actually fought it. He didn't give up immediately. It was tight, fought the hands, but eventually he got succumbed to it. Also, watching tape on the guy, there was a split decision where I was like, what happened here? Like, I'm curious to see why he went to a split decision. It turns out that he fought in Missouri, even though he's from Missouri, and he fought another guy from Missouri. For whatever reason, the guy he fought was in his specific spot in Missouri. So he 30-27 the motherfucker, and one judge must have been best friends with the guy, and he went splitsies and went 29-28 for the other guy. And I'm like, this is fucking weird. So what I like about Armfield, beautiful boxing, good combinations. He has beautiful power. He can wrestle. Biggest concern with Armfield is that because Jose Johnson, he's going to have a height advantage. He's 6 foot tall compared to the 5'6" of Armfield. Those long legs really make Jose Johnson kind of a tricky character to try to fight. Like he throws from long distance, throws nice teeps up the middle, but his striking, I think it seems as if his striking has a reputation that he doesn't necessarily back up. Yeah, he's gotten knockouts like up in featherweight like really quickly, but to me it seems like he likes to wrestle more. Like he's a veteran. He's 15-7 compared to the 8-3 of Armfield. Like he's gotten slightly better with experience, but he still has those same issues. Like he keeps his hands down sometimes. He's easily takedownable. That's a word, right? Takedownable. You can take him down easy. He's got decent offensive wrestling, but he's really hard to get back up from the feet. Like he's content being on his back. the reason for it. He's got long fucking legs. He goes for triangles, and he tries to sweep, but he's kind of content. I feel as if you can control him on the ground, he'll lose because he'll always keep trying to like go for submissions, which that could be a double-edged sword. Like, yes, he can probably get some wins in the UFC fighting idiots, but when it comes to like higher level guys with good top control, that ain't gonna fly. I really think when it comes to this particular matchup, Garrett Armfield, although he's got college, I think it's college or maybe high school wrestling. I didn't go too far into his wrestling because he doesn't tend to use it. He's more of a boxer, really good striking, really good fucking head movement. I like a lot of what Armfield has to offer. It's just that I do get concerned with that reach. I don't necessarily think Jose is going to really put any sort of peppering on Armfield, just because Jose does use a lot of kicks, and he keeps his he keeps his right hand low, I believe. Let me just picture it in my head because I'm a moron. Yep, he keeps his right hand low. And one thing that I've noticed is that our good friend Mana Martinez knocked him the fuck out with a left hook. He still really hasn't fixed that issue with the dropping of his hand. The left hook is going to be there. Garrett Armfield, although he's got short arms himself, not necessarily short, he's got a decent enough reach for his height, 70 inches compared to the 74 of Johnson. I do think Armfield will crack him with that left hook because Johnson, again, doesn't necessarily strike. He likes to grapple. It just seems as if he uses that threat of the alleged striking to get in close and go for takedowns. Armfield, being the better, more technical boxer, I think is going to come into the middle, attack the body beautifully because Armfield, he attacks the body beautifully, and he's going to have a long torso there to attack, and he's eventually going to crack him with that left hook. And then if Armfield does get in any sort of trouble, I think the wrestling's going to be there for him to take down Jose Johnson. Where I do get concerned is if, say, for example, Jose Johnson can reverse because he's so fucking goofy and trippy that I think he can actually potentially get on top of Armfield. But I don't think Armfield's going to fall for that trick. He's fighting at a Kill Cliff MMA. I think he's just currently better. It's just the size that gives me issues. I do have a bet on Armfield currently. I have a unit and a half at minus 150 to win a unit back. So hopefully it pans out like I hope. But I do have Armfield by second round knockout. I think the first round's going to be a little tricky, just kind of getting the groove in. And then eventually Armfield's going to like find his rhythm and just start attacking the body. Hands are going to come low, left hook. And that's a wrap for Jose Johnson.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to this, except that this seems a little bit like Makhachev versus Volkanovski to a certain extent to me. In terms of, in terms of the bigger guy, wanting to grapple more versus the little guy, being a little bit better of a striker and, more of a dog, right? Even though he is the favorite. Yeah, I don't know. In my brain, it seems a little bit like that. And then I think, Armfield is definitely going to have the striking advantage versus, as you mentioned, Johnson is going to, try to go grapple heavy and just, grapple hump his leg for 3 rounds, if at all possible. But yeah, also Andrade sucks ass. But
did you say Andrade sucks ass?
Yeah, man, she's lost the Portuguese pronunciation of her name. I mean, OnlyFans Andrade was, kind of cool, right? She was making a little bit of money on the side, but she was still kicking ass.
So you're saying because she no longer has the OnlyFans, that's why she lost?
Yeah, man, she no longer has that, extra push to, to perform for her fans, so to speak, on her off nights, her off OnlyFans nights.
I should have seen that coming, dude. I lost like a unit on her.
I had a weird feeling about betting on her and the co-main event, just because I'm like, I don't know. It's like when it's like when dog shit fights horse shit, and it's like, I mean, what are you gonna lose? No matter, even if you do win, it's like, yeah. But anyway, I couldn't watch the fights because of the reception out here, and not a lot of places played it. But anyway, not to get into that. I'll also go with Garrett Armfield. I don't think I'll be betting heavy this card I'm actually going to wait until the following week, the UFC pay-per-view. So I should put some money down while I'm here, and hopefully come out on top. Because I came out about even this week. I got lucky that I didn't go too deep on non-OnlyFans Andrade and what was the other guy?
Jordan Wright.
Jordan Wright. Yeah, Jordan Wrong was more like it. Been on punk ass. But here, yeah, I'll go with Armfield. And let's go by, second round, maybe TKO or something. I think he'll wear him out and get him down in the second, or rather, as he's down, kind of take advantage of Johnson being down. And it was, and the reason I say that is because I don't know if I was the only one that noticed, but whenever Makhachev would take down Volkanovski, like his little legs would just like, they're just like immediately, like he would almost instantaneously just spring. They're like little springs, Like he would take them and then he would automatically be back up. It's the weirdest thing. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
It's that rugby background.
I don't know, man. It's those baby legs that just allow him to spring back up. That's why he's never been able. That's why even Makhachev, it was so hard for him to take him down. At least according to Khabib, I should have taken him down easier. But
so Armfield second round TKO.
Armfield second round TKO.
All right, let's move on because we got 12 more, and this one's going to be super fun to talk about. We've got a bantamweight, Haley Cowan versus Eileen Fiona Perez.
Nice.
Yeah. Well,
wait, did I say it out loud? Yeah, nice.
Well, I mean, Haley's really hot. She's really fucking. That's the only reason she's in the UFC. And Eileen Perez, I highlighted her best attribute. Funny enough, my good friend 2 Chainz, the rapper, actually has a nickname for her. I think because she has a big booty, he nicknamed her. Oh shit, what was it? Give me a second. Oh yeah, Big Booty. She's got a big fat ass. I like Eileen Perez for that particular reason. But no, watching this tape on Cowan and Perez was rough, and I spent a good amount of time doing this one. As I mentioned, these girls are a little similar in the sense that, say, Eileen Perez has a booty and Haley Cowan is pretty much booty. She sucks. She's 7-2. She actually should be 6-3. I'll get to that in a bit. Similar record, 7-2, 7-2. Currently, the odds in favor of Cowan, -155, come back on Perez, +135. Let's talk about Cowan because I went back and watched some of her fights. I watched her losses, and there's one in particular. She was fighting in Texas against a lady named Cloudy. Terrible fight. She looked terrible. My basic assessment of her is that she's very beautiful. She's a very attractive athlete. She's a athlete that fights opposed to being a fighter. She doesn't necessarily have that in her. I think she's training with Timo Yama, and she is getting better, but she's very basic. She's kind of like those cardio kickboxing girls that, like, hey, I'm pretty good at kicking. I should do this for a living. And her main attribute is really her height. She's 5'8". She knows how to really stall fights. She knows how to get on top and not necessarily do anything of significant value, just kind of get on top and wear you out, hold you up against the cage. But in the fight that she lost, or she won allegedly against Cloudy, she fought in Texas, her hometown. They gave her a hometown decision. She lost that fight 29-28. She got beat up. She got taken down. Takedown defense is kind of awful, and they gave her the decision. And I was like, damn, this girl sucks. I went back and watched her most recent loss where she got submitted by a big underdog. Like she just got dominated in a way. Like she took her down. She got in an armbar multiple times. Like she just could not get away from the armbar. Every time she escaped the armbar, she got back into the fucking armbar. And I'm like, what are we seeing in this woman, right? Like, I understand she can win based off of her size and, she can beat certain girls, but she's not very good. Like, then I watched her fight in Contender Series, and she did look a little better. Like she's actually putting combinations together. She's not just throwing naked kicks. She looks a little bit more comfortable on the feet, but the same issues, man. She gets taken down. She can't really get back up. She can defend some submissions, but I feel like there's so many opportunities to really take advantage of her lack of experience and really her lack of fighting spirit. And that's why I actually have a 1 unit bet on Eileen Perez. I think I took her at plus 125 just because I wasn't smart enough to get her until I guess now she's at plus 135, which sucks. Eileen Perez, not very good either, but she has qualities that I like in this matchup. She's very high on herself. I think she was talking shit about wanting to be the woman that beats Amanda Nunes, and then she gets submitted immediately by Stephanie Egger. In that Egger fight, though, like yes, she's been beating bums and soccer moms in like Argentina and shit, but the way she does it, like she has something about her. Like the moment she gets on top of you, she puts that fucking ass on your chest, and just the ground and pound that she throws, dude, like that's something, right? That's something. Like she's a very scrappy gal, and I do like that about her. Like even when she was fighting Stephanie Egger, she fought almost as if I don't know how to put it, like she was definitely outmatched. She definitely had the grappling disadvantage, but she acted and she fought like she didn't know that. And in that sort of gruffness and scrappiness, she was actually able to get some decent positions on Egger, and she was actually letting the hands go, and she seemed very like, I'm going to fuck you up. And I think if she can implement that kind of nastiness and grittiness against a girl who, again, is just more of an athlete in Haley Cowan, I think she can eventually get her down because that's her game. She likes to get you down and dominate you on the ground, smash you up. She is I think, a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm looking forward to her sitting on her chest and just letting the hands go. And I think eventually, round number 2 or 3, she's going to get the TKO. Haley, again, I don't know, man. Like she shouldn't be the favorite. I think it should be a little bit closer to a pick 'em. So I'm going to take advantage of that. I've got Perez by second round TKO. I don't see any threat coming from Cowan in the finish. I think the main finish will come from Perez, mostly from the ground and pound or possibly a submission. And say I'm already considering Perez losing the first round, maybe the first round and a half. Come that third round or later in the second round, I think Perez is going to take over. So Perez second round TKO for me. I got all pissed off, dude. I got real pissed off about this one.
Oh man, hang on, give me 1 second.
Yeah. Take a drink from my ladyboy cup.
Yeah, sorry, I have a dry throat out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is rule number 1. Never bet on women's MMA, but if you absolutely feel the need to, just do the over that this is going to go to decision because more often than not they do go to decision. Neither one of these girls looks like she's a destroyer on their feet or a submission guru. Neither one of them is like a all-American wrestler. Taekwondo, like kicking ace, or any sort of, anything near that. I think the UFC just wanted to like get to, 2 hot girls and see like, all right, let's just get a good old cat fight going.
Dude, the only reason Haley's in the UFC is because Dana said there's something about her, and I'm like, yeah, there is something fucking about her.
Yeah. He's like, there was something about her on that casting couch.
I mean, she's pretty hot, dude. Like, she's really fucking hot. She would be on the top of my list of would.
It's funny, the Tapology predictions have Cowan at 80%. That's insane.
I don't know about that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm an idiot.
That's crazy, man. Anyway, if you're gonna bet on this fight, don't bet. Don't bet. Look at what happened to Andrade last week. I thought, oh, she's gonna beat the shit out of her. No, she's, I guess, maybe planning out her next OnlyFans quarter or whatever. She didn't really she didn't really train the fight. Looks like. So I would stay away. If I do bet on this fight, I'll just go with the over. And if I have to bet on them, I'll go with I prefer brunettes, so I'll probably go for a lean by decision. But I'm pretty sure this is going to decision, so I think that's the safe way to go.
Let's move on. Next fight. Taking place at lightweight, we've got a debutante in Naruyo Aliev, the Tajik Eagle, versus Rafael the Turn Alves. Lightweight bout, we've got 8-0, the undefeated from Tajikistan versus Rafael Alves, 20-11, 8-0 for Aliev. Aliev minus 165, come back on Alves plus 140. This one is interesting because, like, Jose, I know you didn't watch the fights. There was a undefeated, I believe he was Russian, like 20 something and 0, who was fighting a guy who was kind of known to be a bit of a dingbat. It was Hussein Askabov versus Jamal Emmers. And I get a bit of that vibe here. Jamal Emmers was an A type of guy. Am I cutting off at all? Because my internet's giving me a sign that it's being a twat.
A little bit, yeah. It's sounding a little like you're like you're communicating from Cybertron or something.
I'll give it a few seconds. Yeah, it does that. Like, I'd pay for the good internet, but out here, it's very twate. I'll give it a few seconds for it to get better. How does that sound now?
Yeah, it sounds better.
All right, cool. Did it cut off when I was talking all this shit about
a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so let me redo it. This is giving me Jamal Emmers versus Hussein Askabov vibes. Like, Askabov had undefeated record. He fought a bunch of bums, but it seems as if he knew how to handle himself against a guy like Jamal Emmers, who was known to be a little bit of a dingbat despite knowing how talented he was. And what I was saying is that when they fought, he really didn't have a plan B or C because plan A didn't work, which was the wrestling. The wrestling didn't get off. The striking fell after with that. And then it just kind of a shit show for the kid. Aliev, he is primarily a wrestler, a Tajikistan wrestler. Watching him and taping him, that's really all he has. He goes for the blast doubles against the cage. He tries to take you down. He is relentless with those takedowns. Like, he has good top control. I was, funny enough, taping the kid, and he is 23 years old. And I wrote down, what did I write down? I wrote down not the best ground and pound, despite the fact that he actually kind of looks like Khabib. He did almost get triangled in one of his fights. Like, he shows a good base, but I just don't know how ready he is at 8-0, fighting a guy with 33 or 31 fights, in Alves. Funny enough, when I was kind of shedding on his ground and pound, I started watching his fight in the Contender Series where he actually had some vicious ground and pound. I'm like, damn, this is like one of his very few non-decision fights. He actually finished the guy in the first round, but I don't know, man. Like, I get the feeling that fight made him look better than what he really is. I just have too many questions on the kid. With Alves, like, I kind of know what I'm getting myself into. This guy is fucking dynamic as shit. He has got power in the hands. He's got a nasty guillotine, nasty submission game. Like, he will not do anything for a bit, and then he'll explode on you. Sounds like anyways, those days are over for me. But Alves, he's such a fucking dingbat too. Like, the guy's fighting Drew Dober, and I'm like, dude, just take him down. Drew Dober's been subbed. Like, you're a good underdog pick. And then he shows me how bad of an underdog pick he was by not doing shit. But I don't know, man. Like, his gas tank is questionable sometimes, but it also isn't. Like, he got taken down repeatedly by Demirs Magulov in that third round. He does that fucking breakdancing technique to get away from getting taken down. I was like, does he conserve his energy? He's just an anomaly. But at plus 140, I'm willing to take the shot. Like, to me, if I were to bet on him, it's already gone. I'm not getting that money back. It's just a pleasant surprise to see if it cashes, because I do think he's skilled enough. He's fast enough. He hits hard enough. I don't know if Aliev is going to want to shoot on him, because if he does shoot on him against the cage, I feel like he can get his neck snatched. And if, say, it does get snatched up and he doesn't get subbed immediately, because that guillotine is fucking disgusting, I feel that's going to really deter him from shooting again. Like, oh, I don't want to get caught again. And what I've seen from Alves, like watching his like Instagram, because watching tape on him is it's almost pointless because it's like he comes out different almost every time. Watching him on Instagram, like I see him training his lead left hand, like he's just striking just with that left hand, like either hooks to the body, hooks to the head. And I feel as if he's going to try to like do that, like uppercuts to the body with the lead hand as the takedowns come in. And I get a good feeling about that. Like I know Alves is such a fucking dummy sometimes, and he could gas out and then conserve his energy after getting dominated for 2 rounds. In the third round, he can come out here and just like try to kill the kid, right? And he does slow down. Aliev does slow down, and his takedowns become less and less effective. So I am looking to take a shot potentially. I haven't done it yet on Alves to either get a knockout or a submission later in the fight, round number 2 or round number 3. I see it as a possibility. It's just that with Alves, he could do something dumb, go for something flying, and then land on his back, and Aliev can just kind of control him and avoid any submissions. He is going to be the bigger guy. But I will take a shot on Alves just kind of out of principle because I didn't like what I saw from Aliev. Like he didn't have those Khabib qualities that he needs to have to really be a dominant force. And at 23 years old, like looking at his record, it just was not particularly impressive for me or impressive enough. Like if he come out here and just like ground and pound the shit out of Alves, I'd shut my mouth and I'd be like, okay, let's see. But I just don't think he has it quite yet. This is kind of to me, again, kind of like I did with Blanchfield. Like let's just see if they can really live up to it. And frankly, Blanchfield's way fucking better than this kid. So I'll go with Alves by second round submission. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, this is one of those debutante versus, more veteran guy matchups. Sometimes the veteran, it's the case where the veteran guys kind of are on their way out, and the debutantes seem more talented than they really are. It's more just, oh hey, this new guy just happened to come upon this older guy on his way out. Not that he's great, and then in their next fight, when they fight, maybe they fight another veteran, but like slightly younger, not on his way out, then they get the shit beat out of him. So you're like, oh fuck. So this guy wasn't, it's one of those things. So this looks like, Alves isn't necessarily on his way out just yet, but he's definitely got to win here because his last fight, he lost to Dober.
Got fucking body crack, dude. Like,
yeah,
it was disgusting.
I don't think Aliev is the type to do that, so I think he's safe there in that sense. But he's got to you got to really take it to him and maybe submit him or something.
I don't know if he's going to be able to do that, man. Like he's kind of like a top control type of dude, which pisses me off, man.
Like that's what I mean. Like he's got to make a statement for himself. If he doesn't, then he's kind of fucked because then he's going to get grapple fucked by Aliev for at least 2 rounds, and that's really all it takes. And then it's the third round, he's scrambling to try to do something, and then nothing happens, and he pretty much fucks himself. So that's what I see happening here. I'm actually going to take a shot on Aliev. I'm going to have him win by decision by just grapple fucking him for 2 rounds. But I'm not placing any bets on this fight. Like a lot of these fights, I'm just like.
So you're just picking them. You're not betting them.
Yeah, a lot of these fights. I don't know. This just seems like one of those cards where I'm like, I don't feel any real confidence in any of these.
I am with you there, man. Like they're all kind of there's a couple fights that are like, okay, I know what's gonna happen, but too many unknowns. But yeah, I was gonna say, hey, do you want to see how you want to see my impression of Brendan Schaub drinking from a straw?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Nothing. I get nothing for that.
Wait, what?
You didn't see it?
Yeah, no, I'm seeing it, but no, I mean because I'm watching it on my phone, so it's kind of a little square.
Well, you have to rewatch it. I ain't doing it again. But let's move on to the next fight. We've got at lightweight Joe Solecki, Joe Selective, more of That's what I fucking call him. Selects when he wants to win or not. Versus Carl Deaton III. The odds are heavy favored for Joe Solecki, minus 550. Come back on Deaton. He's a plus 400. The reason really for that, it's that Deaton is a featherweight, moving up to light heavyweight. Light heavyweight. That'd be funny. To lightweight, light heavyweight. I think he'd actually do better than William Knight did. But at lightweight, to fight Joe Solecki on short notice, who was Joe Solecki supposed to fight?
Wait, are you sure he's not fighting Carl Deaton's father, Carl Deaton II?
He was supposed to fight Benoit Saint-Denis. No, he's fighting the third. And shit. Oh, man, I did tape on these guys, more so on Deaton, because I needed to know what is he all about. Because like I have, as I mentioned, I call him Joe Selective. This fucker is so weird because he's so dominant with his grappling, but he's such a fucking flake that like I don't know what to make of the guy. Like, yes, he won his last fight against Lecco, who was what the fuck is his real name? Alex da Silva. In a normal world, there would have been a possible draw or maybe a 29-28 for Da Silva, but Da Silva, I guess, kept grabbing the cage with his toes and he lost the fight. Joe Solecki lost 2 rounds and he still won the fucking fight. And I was like, ugh, like even if I would have been on Joe, if I would have had a parlay with him, I would have been disgusted by it. Like the guy's striking it's getting better, but it's not there yet. But his jiu-jitsu, man, in that first round, this guy could really take advantage of you and put like just really molest you. It's just that he's not minus 500 really worthy. Deaton, the guy's solid, right? He's just going to be too short and too short armed here. Like he trains out of American Top Team. Like he's had some good fights in the PFL. He dominated Justin James, and that's where I kind of made a line in the sand. Like if this fucker didn't finish Justin James, I don't know, man. Like I think he can win in the UFC. He's got good attributes, right? His striking's okay. He actually dropped what was that guy's name? Alejandro Flores in the PFL. He like cracked him with the left hook and sat him on his ass. So I'm like, this guy has power. I just don't think he's gonna have really anything for Joe Solecki. Like I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Deaton goes out there and like makes Joe Solecki like into a little bitch and potentially takes a really unanimously close split decision. But in reality, I think Joe Solecki has to come out here. He has to perform. He has to submit him immediately, and I think he has that in him. So probably not wise to take Solecki or put him on any parlays. Just take him by submission if you do that at all. If the odds are good, I don't know what the odds are for him by submission, but yeah, Carl Deaton, I think he can put up a good fight while it lasts. I just do worry that if I do take Joe Solecki by any sort of means, that he can drop the ball. Like I don't know what it is. He's heading to me on Alex Hernandez territory, not full cock Hernandez. Full cock Alex Hernandez is a different beast. More like half cock Alex Hernandez. God forbid he turns into no cock Alex Hernandez. I don't know if you heard that, Jose. I might just be speaking fucking riddles. Alex Hernandez said when he dropped down to featherweight, he his dick didn't work anymore. So I was like, oh, I know I know all about that, my friend. But since he moved back up slightly for lightweight to fight Jim Miller, I'm like, full cock Alex Hernandez is going to be he'll still be a UFC fighter, damn it. And he looked okay. Yeah, he looked all right. But yeah, like when you're going full no cock Alex Hernandez, I just don't have any faith in Joe Solecki right now. But he should definitely win this one. So I'll say first round submission, Joe Solecki.
I'll go the same. I mean, I'll have more to add. I didn't know that about.
Yeah, and you've been away. You've been away for a while.
Yeah, it's I've been kind of following MMA for a bit, but not really, man. Yeah, Carl Deaton with his is that a Catwoman mask he's got on? What the fuck?
I think he's Native American, which toughness points there, but yeah, he's got a nickname that I cannot pronounce. So yeah, he's probably some sort of something.
Anishinaabe. Okay, hopefully I pronounced it right, and his ancestors don't fucking come after me. Yeah, I mean, what do you call it? Joe Solecki, he's got, significantly more, um, like UFC experience, which counts towards a lot. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the PFL, looks like he fought in Big John's MMA as well.
Oh, wow.
Didn't know that was a thing. But UFC experience counts for a lot. Like, even if you're not good, at least you've gotten the shit beat out of you by somebody who is good. So at least you've got maybe work your defense up a little bit. But
Yeah, really.
on the other hand,
We'll see. Because
uh
sorry to cut you off. This is like I'm really like I get pissed off with Joe Solecki because I know how good he is. So this is like a put up or shut up type of moment. If he cannot finish Carl Deaton, then this fucker's getting put on that like fuck you list for me.
I think he's already there. Not only that, like, who the fuck made him a minus 500 favorite?
Because
Minus
he
500 point
should be.
favorite.
He fucking should be. That's the biggest issue. He absolutely should be. It's a short notice fight, fighting a featherweight. And I'm like, well, I don't know, man. Like, it bothers me. Just the odds definitely piss me off, and knowing that like I can't trust them. Like I would love to take $10,000 out the fucking bank and put it on Joe Solecki and just be like, just don't even have to watch the fight. But I can't because I don't trust the guy.
Yeah,
Shit.
so I'd say stay away from this fight for that reason alone. Do not. I mean, if you want to, send your thoughts and prayers to Joe Solecki, great. But this is not the fight to bet on. This is not the. This is not. He's not Valentina Shevchenko. If it was Valentina Shevchenko versus Deaton, I'd say fucking go for it.
Wow.
Take out a loan if you have to, but go for it. But Joe Solecki versus Carl Deaton, minus 500 favorite. I don't fucking think so.
So what do you got him by same sub?
Oh yeah. I'm going with Joe, and why not? He'll probably sub him. But yeah, again, it's like minus 500. What the fuck?
Yeah. I am interested though. I don't necessarily have the website per se. I do Bovada right now where you can choose what type of submission. My guess would be rear naked choke. I think like my dumbass when I was considering betting Blanchfield, like because I weighed my options. I'm like, what's the way she can win if she doesn't get knocked out? And I'm like, I think she can rear naked choke her, but like I didn't go out of my way and look for a book that had that like that particular option. But yeah, if I did, I would go rear naked choke. That'd just be the easiest fucking thing. Like the way he did it to Austin Hubbard, which is like, I don't know if you guys out there know, Austin Hubbard is like in my nightmares all the time. I respect the shit out of him immensely, and I think he might be in the Ultimate Fighter with the Connor and the Chandler.
The other guy.
But yeah, he haunts my dreams, and the way he handled him was like exactly how you should handle Deaton. You have anything else to say, dude? I'm fucking tired of talking about this one.
Yeah, I'd say let's move on. Too much attention on
Joe
these fights that
Solecki.
doesn't. Yeah, Joe Solecki, my ass.
All right. Funny enough, another fight where the guy pisses me off. Ode Osbourne versus Charles Energy Johnson. Ode doesn't get the privilege of me saying his nickname. He is he's 11-5 compared to the 13-3 of Charles Johnson. Johnson being the favorite here, minus 190. Come back on Ode Osbourne plus 160. This one, it's fascinating, right? Like I am shitting on Ode Osbourne. I chose this particular picture of him in the midst of his consciousness leaving his fucking body after pulling one of the stupidest fucking stunts I've ever seen in my life against Tyson Nam. And not necessarily because I had money on Ode, which I did. It ain't the point. The point is that he's a professional fighter and he got caught with such a fucking stupid maneuver, jumping in the air for a flying knee, not even the flying knee, faking the flying knee. The moment he lands, Tyson Nam blasts him to outer space. And for that, I'm like, this guy is so fucking unreliable. And it angers me because I know how good he is. I know how talented he is. And I know how good he can be, especially at flyweight, because he's a strong guy, right? He's a very good grappler. He's a good striker. He's got issues in the sense of the gas tank where he can't necessarily go 3 rounds without exhausting himself into the third because he has a lot of fast twitch movements. And I do think this fight can be very, very close, especially in the first few rounds. I do think this fight goes over. Ode Osbourne, though, his IQ is just something I can't get behind right now. Like it's one of those like let's wait and see. So I've put Ode Osbourne in that kind of category. Like you cannot bet the guy, even if he's honestly, even if he wins and I can make easy money on him at the plus 160, I don't want to do that. I'd rather take my time with this idiot and see what he can do. And like, I don't want to keep talking shit on the guy, but like he deserves it. Like, unlike certain William Knight who's getting death threats, he deserves those. I don't want to necessarily say that Ode Osbourne deserves to die, but we'll see after this fight. Charles Johnson, though, I just think he is the better striker, the better cardio, better fight IQ. My issues with Johnson is that he does get kicked in the legs quite a bit. He's kind of got the little baby leg syndrome where, low kicks could really affect him. He is pretty fast. I just think Ode might have a bit of a speed advantage just slightly, and him mixing him takedowns will really kind of mess with the judging. Like I think Charles Johnson can have a really good first round, and then Ode Osbourne just kind of throws a couple strikes, gets a takedown, and that kind of edges the rounds, which, like, for example, with Nazim Sadikov and Evan Elder, I got real fucking lucky there. It was really close, and then, like, the littlest thing could really affect the judges. I thought they were close, and I thought maybe Sadikov might have won one round in those two, but it turns out Evan Elder won both, and I feel like the same could happen here with Ode Osbourne winning the first two rounds just by doing that one thing that he needs to do to win that round, whether it be a late takedown or just a specific flashy strike. Again, I can't necessarily trust him to do so. My biggest thing is that if it doesn't end, if Ode Osbourne can't somehow finish Charles Johnson, that third round is going to be absolute hell for Ode, because Charles, the guy can definitely win himself. I think he's got the bigger knockout threat between the both of them. I think Ode cuts a lot of weight to make 125. Charles Johnson has no real issue there, and his cardio is fantastic. The straight punches, beautiful. He attacks the body beautifully. I don't see really Charles having much of a threat when it comes to like the power of Ode. It's more so, again, the grappling and the stifling, because I think Ode will have that speed advantage to shoot under and maybe get a takedown. Like Charles Johnson's takedown defense is good. It's just that, like, with that power that Ode has, it could really, again, stifle him for a bit. It really comes down to, if it goes to the third round and say Ode is up, I don't trust him to be able to survive the onslaught of Charles. I think Charles is going to attack the body. When Charles Johnson is feeling himself, when he gets into that groove, it's beautiful, man, like beautiful boxing. And I think once he gets that groove, whether it be in the first, second, or third round, it's going to be trouble for Ode, who likes to swing a lot. He likes to counter a lot, but those counters come in looping. And I think Charles Johnson will probably take those on the shoulder and then bam, bam, straight down the middle. And it's going to hurt Ode Osbourne. Whether it finishes him or not, we'll see. But I'll actually go with Charles Johnson, third round TKO. I think that might be a pretty good prop bet to take if Johnson, say, is going to get a little stifled by Ode. If the odds are really good, I think the third round, Johnson's going to come out there, especially if he's losing. I think he can definitely finish him in the third, because Ode does slow down. TJ Vergara proved that. The only issue is that if, say, I'm banking on that third round, Ode can definitely get knocked out in the fucking first round. So I'll go with Charles Johnson, third round TKO. I do think Johnson wins this one. It just might be a bit hectic in the first few rounds, though.
Yeah, I'm going with Johnson just because of the fact that I'm pretty sure I had Ode Johnson against Brian Kelleher and Manel Cape, and he fucked me on those. I'm like more than certain I had him. I'd have to go back and double check, but I'm like, why don't I like this guy? And that's probably why.
Yeah, he makes a lot of really stupid ass mistakes, man. Like, he's really a dumb IQ, and I do think he can fix those things. It's just that he needs to get the right people to like smack him up and tell him not to fucking jump in the air in front of a guy with a beautiful right hand and Tyson Nam. Dude, like, just going back and rewatching that, like the whole conversation that like DC and Bisping were having is like, oh, Ode's winning this round. Ode's winning. And then he jumps up in the air. And then at that moment, even Tyson Nam's like, my eyes wide open and I saw the shot. And then he comes down and then whack. And that's literally the moment where he's like falling back. And then Oh man, it pissed me off because he was winning, but he did a lot of unnecessary things. Like, why are you jumping in the fucking air? You absolute moron. Uh, anyways, as you were, what were you saying?
Yeah, I mean, I have more to add. I don't want to waste time calling them, names or thinking of references. So I'll just go with energy. I don't know. Is he trying to play off of energy,
I don't
Donald
know.
Johnson?
I really
Energy.
don't know.
That's weird, but yeah, I'll go with him. Again, I'm not gonna bet on this fight just because I'm not super confident because anything could happen. Really, here to me, it's like same level guys. It's like one of them's got to lose or it's gonna go to decision. I think this is gonna go to decision. Um, but I think Johnson's probably gonna outstrike him. I want to say, because yeah, Odie Osbourne, he reminds me a little bit of Ronaldinho, the football,
Yeah.
a
Crooked
little bit
teeth.
with the, well, not so much that, but with the the slack jaw sort of.
Mm. I should say this, but do you remember the movie Captain Phillips?
I do not. I don't think I ever saw that.
All
No.
right, no. The
Oh, but
look
I
at
do
me.
remember.
I'm the
Go ahead.
cap. I was gonna use that picture for Ode, but I'm like, no. It is a specific month in February, so I don't want to get in trouble. But I was gonna use that picture.
You should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have said let's do it.
See,
But
that's the thing. Like I found this picture more disrespectful because it's like his worst moment. I was like, this asshole. But then going forward, I think I might do that. We'll see what happens in this fight.
yeah, it's a big
He
fight.
might get some more respect out of me in the future. Yeah. Well, let's move
Pretty
on.
hilarious.
You said you have Charles by decision.
Yeah, Charles. I'll say it's Charles by decision.
Moving on, lightweight bout. Jordan Fruity Booty Leavitt versus Victor the Brick Martinez. I'll get to this one real quick. Victor Martinez, I really don't know why he's in the UFC. He's a tough guy. He hits hard. Allegedly a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He trains out of Fortis MMA. He's got some decent wins. He actually lost to a guy in this card that he's fighting. What's his name? The Ghost Pepper. I don't know how he lost to him, but the guy was kind of unremarkable for me. Like he gives up his back a lot. He gets taken down kind of easily. The guy he beat in the Contender Series to win essentially dropped him and beat him in the first round. Then he broke his hand and he essentially couldn't finish a one-armed man. Like, I don't know why it's so close. The odds allegedly currently are minus 125 Levitt, come back on Martinez plus 105. Let me make sure if that's still accurate because I keep seeing the number change. It was kind of a pick 'em. You can probably get Levitt as a dog plus 100. There's money coming in on Martinez, and I'm not certain why. Like, I'm the kind of guy, like as of late, Jose, I try not to let other people influence me, like either the line changing or people on Twitter that seem confident because you can't trust other people's opinion without seeing it for yourself. And
Yeah,
I get why they want to fade Levitt. Like he's again, I call him the fruity booty for a reason. He's kind of a weird dingbat himself, but he has good qualities that I don't know if people are catching on. Like he stifles his opponents because he's so awkward. Like he throws really goofy techniques. He's a really good wrestler. He's really strong. Like 5'9", 71-inch reach. He's very unassuming. And I wrote down some, I don't know what I was gonna say. I wrote down some twats. I wrote down some notes about him. Like he's a decent, like, here's the shit about the guy. He's not bad. Like he uses a pretty interesting X guard when boxing. Like he blocks his shit. Like he doesn't really get a lot of clean punches. And I'm like, that's actually pretty good technique. Like that's the type of shit George Foreman used to use back in the day, like the X guard, and nothing really lands on him cleanly. Like he has that threat of the takedown consistently that makes people a little tentative against uh what the fuck is his name? Patty Pimblett. He was stifling his striking by really teeping him anytime he would move forward. And it was like, that's surprisingly good shit from him. Like he kind of knows his limitations. He doesn't have power, but he can actually like surprise you with some decent punches. He threw a shit ton of kicks against Trey Ogden, and he won a fight like that. I think when it comes down to this one, it's so tricky that if Martinez can avoid the takedowns, I think definitely he's going to have the better striking. But the threat of the takedown from Leavitt, if he can take his back, he doesn't have to submit him. He just has to control him, and I think he can do that. I'm going to take Leavitt by decision, but I really do think it's a close fight. Leavitt, again, he's had some weird fights where he can't really get the ball rolling. He can't necessarily go for his takedowns, but he finds a way to win in a funky way. The Monkey God or the Monkey King. I don't know if Victor Martinez can knock him out. That's really the best shot he has is just to outstrike him, try to knock him out. Levitt's got an interesting chin. Again, that X guard is going to be in play. I'll take Leavitt to use his wrestling and at the very least kind of stifle Victor against the cage and just try to take his back. Again, he gives up his back quite a bit. So I'll go with Leavitt by decision. I'm not fully confident, but I am considering taking a shot on Leavitt if he is a dog by the time I check. So Leavitt decision for me.
I don't know. To be honest, I'm getting Jordan Wright vibes from Jordan Leavitt because I actually confused them.
Well, Jordan Leavitt
Basing
has
it on,
more wins than Jordan Wright in the UFC.
yeah, I don't know why I confused them, but I had this weird
But
monkey
they're both.
vibe.
I mean, I get it. They're both black men.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's not like they all look alike to me. It's just.
Hey,
I
now
just got this.
it's Black History Month. You stop that,
Yeah.
Mister.
No, I said it's not. I'm
No,
negating.
my apologies.
Yeah.
Because they don't.
Yeah, they do not.
Who are they? I don't know. What?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really been too high on Jordan Leavitt. I know he's 10-2. But his let me see. It's a specific fight.
Oh, hold up, dude. I forgot to mention this about Eileen Perez because, like, in one of my other dumbass videos, I said she would twerk my cock off, and I just fucking thought about Jordan Leavitt. And I'm like, I guess he could probably also twerk my cock off.
Oh man, that's something you want to go spreading around.
Oh shit. There's that recent UFC. Anyways, never mind. Now fuck the commercial. Oh god, I just remember that Jordan Leavitt twerks. I think that's the main reason people are wanting to fade the guy. He's an oddball.
He's a twerker.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. Yeah, part of the thing is I know he lost to Paddy Pimblett, but I think that was like a controversial decision in terms of like.
No, that was the other
I
guy.
think who was that?
He actually finished him. Paddy finished him. He did well against Paddy, but he couldn't really do anything to him. You know, like he tried to just hold him, and then he got reversed a couple times. But like that's Paddy. Paddy's very dynamic. People shit on Paddy a lot, but he's very skilled. It's just that he's got issues with his striking defense.
Yeah, I mean his wins aren't exactly anything to write home about. You know, Trey, Matt, and well, the two Matts and Trey. But then again, he's fighting Victor Martinez, which you know he doesn't have that great of a record. But more importantly, he doesn't. You know, he just has one contender. You know, I guess he has a few UFC fights more than him, and you know, while they both fought in the contender series, I think those UFC fights are gonna probably make the difference here. I actually think Jordan's gonna submit the guy. Wait, is he? No. Yeah, I think he is. I think he's probably gonna get him in like the dude. All these submissions are like in the back of my brain right now. It's the armbar.
Armbar. Didn't Chris Jericho invent that?
The arm. No. You're thinking of the walls of Jericho.
Never mind.
Yeah.
It'll come to you eventually. But armbar numbers 1005. The armbar.
I don't know, dude. I'm lost.
All right, never mind. You'll never mind. I'm an idiot. But you thinking armbar?
I think so.
All right, let's move on to the next fight just because I want to get through this one quick. It is at flyweight.
You can skip it all together if you want.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know why it's the prelim main event, but we've got the former LFA flyweight champion in Gabriela Fernandes versus Jasmine SP Jasudavicius. Currently, Fernandes is a minus 125 favorite compared to the plus 100 Jasudavicius. And honestly, I'm not sure about this one at all. Jasudavicius looked really bad in her last fight, but there were some qualities about her that I appreciated that made me consider taking the plus 100. Going and watching really tape on Gabby, like she's a striker. And what did I write down? There was something odd about what I saw from her. Like, I could be wrong. I'm not necessarily a BJJ expert, but when I was like looking at her Instagram, it almost looks like they were rushing her belt. Like she went from a blue belt, and then like a month later she was a purple belt. But then again, maybe she got promoted to like one of the final stripes of her blue belt, and then they then promoted her to a purple belt a month later. I wasn't sure. It just seemed a bit odd. But she's not necessarily a jujitsu queen or anything like that. I know in her last fight she did get a guillotine, but that guillotine seemed a little funky to me. Like again, I'm not an expert, but it almost seemed like the girl could have gotten out of it, and Gabriella was, I don't know. I think she just got lucky with it. Like I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm just kind of spouting out of my ass, but I was not particularly impressed by Fernandez. Like I will admit, like when she lets her hands go, when she gets in that flow state, her striking's not too bad, but she's a little too slow for me, a little tanky. Jasudavicius, her last fight, she got her ass beat by Natalia Silva, but Natalia Silva was, holy shit, she looked fucking phenomenal. What I liked about Jasudavicius in that fight is that she really never quit on herself. Like she couldn't get the takedowns, but she kept trying and trying. I think this fight is definitely closer between these two, and I think Jasudavicius has a really good shot of just kind of stalling the fight, going for her takedowns and just getting top control because she's good at that. Like she's herself, I believe, a former kickboxer, but she's fucking slow. She really doesn't move her head. Like I'm about to say something controversial, kind of messed up, but she's got the reaction times of a kid with autism to me. Like um Kay Hansen was like smaller than her, shorter reach, was able to get in close and like land flush on her. And it was like, huh, I guess I see why, Gabby's a favorite. She's a better striker. She's a lot faster. But Jasudavicius showed a decent chin. Um, I'm gonna take a shot, just prediction wise, currently on Jasudavicius, just because I do think this could be one of those really close fights that the slightest top control could win it. And I don't know. I just was not impressed by Gabby Fernandez. So I'll take Jasudavicius. It's going to be a bit of a shit show. And, if anything, I'd rather be in the side of the dog. So I'll go with Jasudavicius by decision.
Yeah, this goes back to the don't bet on women's MMA.
Oh, this one's, there's
And
no clear edge here.
Yeah, this is maybe the prime example because they're both probably just gonna, it's gonna be like one of those sorority sleepover pillow fights where there's really no winner.
Well, I guess the guy filming it from outside the tree is the winner, but
yeah. But this is just one of those fights where it's like, I don't know, I don't see a clear winner. It's like for this whole card, even like who the fuck would put this as the prelim like main event? Man, this is insane. They're really scraping the bottom of the outhouse. Top to bottom here. But yeah, here, I don't know if I don't think a lot of money is going to come in on this fight in particular. But if you can get Jasmine at a plus 100 plus anything, uh, if you have money to throw away, then I'd say go for it.
yeah, man. Like I tried my best to see an edge on this one. I can't see it. So, yeah, man, leave a comment if you see something I'm not seeing. But Fernandez being the last champ from LFA, I think that's why she's being highlighted. I don't think she should be though. I think she should be. I think she should be buried a bit further down. Like, fuck, they should have made Osbourne versus Johnson the like highlighted prelim main event. I think that would have been more fun. But blech. That's what I have to say about that one.
Yeah, me too. So I'll just take. I think this is going to decision, so I think that may be a better route depending on the odds.
Mm-hmm.
But taking Jasmine by decision, I don't know, man. It might. This is one of those fights that will, if you include it in the parlay, it's gonna fuck you over. Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's move on to the start of the main card, and I'll say it outright, man. Like, I get a feeling this is going to be one of my worst prediction cards, just because again it's so close to me. I don't see really any edge on any real fight, just because they're so fucking goofy, and this is prime example of why I feel that way. We've got at lightweight Eric the Ghost Pepper Gonzalez versus Trevor, as I like to call him, the methamphetamine Peek. And currently, the methamphetamine is minus 175. Come back on the Ghost Pepper is plus 150. Not many people know this. I don't think you've heard about this, Jose, but there's actually a weird, like almost WWE style stipulation with this fight. Trevor Peek, he's from Alabama. Apparently, there's some sort of like culture down there, but the like bet is that if Gonzalez loses to Peek, Trevor Peek has to personally deport Gonzalez back to Mexico. But if Eric Gonzalez wins, Eric can borrow any one of Trevor Peek's DVDs and not return it. So it's a very interesting fight between these two characters. Like, I respect the sportsmanship, but we've got a 7-0 guy going up against a 14-7 guy. He's got literally the same amount of losses as he has wins. Trevor Peek, and I'll try to make this one short because this is a fucking shit show fight that's going to be fight of the night. These two guys are going to be a car crash, and it's going to be ridiculous. They're both very, very wild. They're both kind of awkward. Trevor Peek, he's got some pretty interesting characteristics. I call him the methamphetamine because he's a meanie and he's on methamphetamines. The dude is 7-0. He actually beat one of our favorite fighters, Karma Worthy. Like oh man, it's kind of sad. Like, Karma Worthy was like a winning fighter in the UFC, and he's getting beat by guys like Trevor Peek. Trevor's kind of sloppy, man. In his Contender Series fight, kind of got tagged up. He got out skilled in that fight on the feet, and he got brutally hurt, but he survived. He has a very tough chin, very tough nature of him. He's one of these types of guys that if you let him survive, he's gonna come at you, man. If he's exhausted, he's gonna come and really put it on you. That's what makes him such an interesting fighter. But really, he should not be this much of a favorite. But I understand why he's a minus 175, just because Gonzalez has not really had the best account of himself. He got knocked out by Jim Miller, and I have to say it again. I had the prediction saying that Jim Miller was going to accidentally knock out Eric Gonzalez on his way to submitting him because Eric kind of leaves himself exposed. His defense kind of sucks. He threw a naked kick up the middle. Jim just cracked him. And then against Terrence McKinney, really no shame in that. You're going to get beat by Terrence, but he actually dropped Terrence and really hurt him. Dude, like if Gonzalez had any bit of like clarity to himself and like intelligence, fight IQ being a little higher than room temperature, I could pick him. But Trevor Peek, I get why he's the favorite. Like, the guy can crack despite the fact that he just kind of swings. Like, you remember that episode of The Simpsons when Lisa and Bart are playing hockey, and then Lisa's like, "I'm gonna flail my arms, and if you get hit, it's your own fault." Like that, like that's kind of what he does. But the dude can. That dude's fucking weird, man. I've seen this guy get out grappled, and he somehow like outpowers. He fucking Derek Lewis's himself up, doing zero fucking like skill, just pure strength, and he gets on top and he pounds these guys out. So he's such a weird dude. It's like he's so hard to gauge. Like, if they would have given him someone slightly better, I would have just faded the shit out of him. But with Eric Gonzalez, like, he's gonna have the height and reach advantage. But fuck, man, like, I do think Herrick can win it. I think he's worth a shot because it's such a 50-50 matchup that if, like, for example, Trevor, who's never really been out of the second round in his professional fights, I think he can get tired. I think he can get really held down. And if Gonzalez can like get on top of him, which Gonzalez is smart enough to go for takedowns, right? It's just that his striking's wild. If Gonzalez comes in here with a smart game plan, using long distance jabs and just staying on the outside, kicking, and then avoiding the big swings from Trevor Peek, absolutely Gonzalez can win this fight. And then sneaking in with takedowns and just taking control, not looking to knock him out because that wouldn't be the wisest thing. This guy, again, is fucking tough as shit. Going for a submission, a rear naked choke, definitely choking his ass out. I think Gonzalez can do that, but I cannot trust him to have that high level of IQ. I do think his IQ is slightly better than Trevor Peek's. His skill was slightly better than Trevor Peek's, and I mean fucking an iota better. It's just that the experience, I don't know, man. It's such a goofy fight. I'm gonna take Gonzalez, and this is why I say I think I'm gonna have such a horrible prediction card by a submission in the second round, because I think Trevor Peek can get beat pretty easily if you play it smart. But yeah, I'll go with Gonzalez to hopefully not fuck this up.
Yeah, this is one of those like super close, I think, coin flip fights, man. Like the look on the look that they have for Trevor Peek on the Tapology site says it all, man. It's very shady proposition betting on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, you could hedge your bet, but at the same time, what's the fun in that, you know? I don't know, man. I think this is going to go to decision. I don't think either one of them is going to be able to knock out the other. Yeah, that's what I'm predicting. I think this is going to be a 3-round train wreck. I think they're going to beat the shit out of each other, but it's going to go to decision. And people are going to be like, wow, that was a hell of a fight. And something or other. I don't know, man. I just have that decision, that feeling.
I pictured the possibility of that happening because I think a lot of people are going to have the under on this one. I can see both these guys being exhausted, especially Trevor Peek, and then maybe Peek just because he can get his own takedowns, but they're just mostly power. And then they're just kind of having a sloppy, like one's on the bottom slapping up, and the other one's just kind of like resting their head on the chest and then maybe throwing a stupid. I can see it. Yeah. I hope not. I hope you're wrong. Let's move on, dude. This one's going to be a car crash. But next bout at welterweight, we've got proper 12 Mike Malott versus the White Lion Johan Lainesse. Lainesse is a plus 180 comeback on. Malott is a minus 220. This one I did a good amount of research, and I don't know, man. This one's also kind of tough. Like I think a lot of money might be coming in on Mike Malott. And I understand why. I think he's the better fighter overall. Like he's got good striking. He's got ever improving grappling. His jiu-jitsu is legit. Like he's a black belt, I believe now. So he's got that legitsu training out of Team Alpha Male. Everything is telling me like go with Mike Malott, but I get this funky feeling that Johan Lainesse, who I've specifically said he no longer has that mystique about him anymore. Like when he first came into the UFC, like this guy is kind of special. He's knocking dudes out. He has a lot of power in his hands. Mike Malott, he's very skilled, but to me, I think his chin is very suspect. Like I've seen him get cracked. Like he used to fight at featherweight. Hakeem Dawodu fucking cracked him back then, and I thought, that was at featherweight. You know, it might not be the same. I'm watching him fight proverbial fucking ball dropper in Solomon Renfro, and Solomon Renfro cracks him, drops him. Luckily for him, like he hit him and then he took his back and choked him out. I am worried a shit ton that Johan Lainesse, who he's a goofy striker, he's very long. They're the same height, but he's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage. The way he throws his punches is a bit unique, where he kind of extends his strikes super far. Like how can I put it? Like when he throws his right hand, he uses every single bit of his reach. Like he extends all the way out, and he kind of takes advantage of his like opponents like shorter reach. Kind of a 50-50 matchup when he's throwing that punch. If say you've got a good enough striker to counter it, he can actually get cracked by not defending his left side. But he kind of throws it in a weird, like kind of safe way. That's one thing that I noticed about him. He's oddly enough very difficult to take down. There's a very good possibility I think he can knock out proper Mike Malott in the first round. I think Malott is very hittable. Mickey Gall was like landing on him, and I don't know, but Mike Malott's got a weird characteristic about him to really get hurt and then still come from behind and win. I don't think this one's going to go the distance. I think there's a good shot that Johan Lainesse wins this one by actually cracking Mike Malott and knocking him out. Like I want to go with Mike Malott. I'm going to take him as a pick, but I do think there's a lot of value on Lainesse. Like he didn't look great in his last fight against Darian Weeks. I just get this funky feeling that he can probably knock out Mike Malott. So decision, no, not decision. I think if I'm going to go with Malott, he has to wrestle, go for takedowns. Fuck, but I really don't know if he can get the takedown. His takedowns aren't necessarily the best. If it stays on the feet, fuck it. I'm going to go with Lainesse by knockout. I think it's going to stay on the feet. Mike Malott won't be able to take him down because he's so fucking goofy, and then he's going to get knocked out with a really long straight right hand. So Lainesse first round knockout. Why not?
Well, his name escapes me at the moment.
Which one?
The Canadian Psycho.
Rory McDonald.
Rory McDonald. Yeah.
Rory McDonald.
So Lainesse, there's a picture of him on Tapology that looks like.
Oh, he does kind of look like him.
Yeah, he looks like Rory McDonald's fucking protege. So that alone makes me want to go with Mike Malott. Unless he shaves his head too, it's like fuck.
He's kind of got a weird receding hairline, kind of like a mohawk.
Yeah. Yeah,
weird,
but at least what's his name? Malott is fighting out of Sacramento.
Mm.
So that's something. He's fighting out of Team Alpha Midget. So he's gonna have
he's the king of the midgets.
Yeah. He's gonna have what do you call it? I'm hoping at least the takedown defense. If he doesn't have the takedown offense, at least he'll have the defense to hopefully stuff takedowns and then do what he needs to do. So I'll go with Malott, and I'll actually get him by third round TKO. I don't think he'll go to distance. I think he'll either TKO him either late in the second or halfway through, by halfway through the third for sure.
I was gonna say, dude, are you that tired, or is it just me talking that's boring you?
No, dude, it's just being out here. So I'm gonna acclimate it to the. I mean, it's only an hour time change.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just been an exhausting fucking week, dude.
Let's say for those who don't know, Jose is out on business right now, so he's in Arizona.
Yeah.
Well, let's fucking do it quicker so you can go to bed, dude. I know you've been working overtime and shit. So next bout, we've got flyweight bout, the return of Tatiana Suarez versus Montana De La Rosa. Making this one quick, Tatiana minus 750, 170, my ass. Comeback on De La Rosa is a plus 540. Maybe. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Montana's really hot. I consider her to be one of the more attractive women in the UFC. She's got a very, very attractive nose. I'll say that. It leaks blood, but very attractive. Tatiana Suarez, she's dating Patchy Mix. And she's been away for a while. She's had some issues. She should win this fight. I'd say she should win this fight. The time away does concern me, though. I don't know. Sometimes fighters come back and they're not necessarily the same. And it's been quite some time. She last fought back in 2019 against Nina Nunes. And even then, Nina Nunes kind of, she survived. And third round was a little sketchy. But when she does her duty, she gets takedowns, former nearly Olympic athlete with wrestling. She's very solid. She's very big. Funny enough, Montana's going to be taller. as I've mentioned in the past about Montana, she's kind of got a bit of the bird bone syndrome where she's easily takedownable. She's got good jiu-jitsu. I like Montana. I really like Montana. There's a shot she can potentially win it, but I just don't see her having the manpower or the female power in this case to really stop the takedowns or really threaten off of her back against Tatiana. I'm going to take Tatiana by a second round TKO, not touching this one at all just because too many question marks. So I'll go with Tatiana second round TKO. She's going to get on top, land some good punches, pass to the side mount, then to full mount, drop some punches, probably bust up the nose of Montana, that beautiful nose of hers, and get the doctor or TKO by the ref. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. Tatiana's been out for quite a while. I think she should have stayed out. After this long, I don't know what the fuck took her so long to get back. She said the
Um,
surgery. I think it's just being cracked open by Patchy so many times. It's like, oh man.
show
But yeah,
him,
she lasts.
show her why they call him Patchy.
Dude, it's been almost 4 fucking years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
God damn.
Cancer and all. So
She's been out since. No, man, I should have been back sooner. Fuck, 4 years. God damn. Is that what she's claiming? I don't know.
oh my god. Yeah, she faked cancer to not fight because she's scared.
I don't know.
I think so.
Roman Reigns was able to get over it pretty quick.
That's
So.
pretty funny. Yeah, it was cancer. Yeah, he did come back pretty quick with a full head of hair. I was like, huh,
Yeah,
must be getting that good chemo.
yeah, man. So I don't know, man. Looks pretty suspicious to me, but yeah, she was doing okay before the pandemic, and now that it's over, she's like, all right. I guess she just wanted to stay home, like all of us during the pandemic. Yeah, I mean, my heart's with Montana, but I mean, she's gonna get grapple fucked
Yeah.
here, which isn't a bad thing because it's on live TV, so you get to kind of use your imagination and imagine, like, what if they were, in Jello or something, wrestling in Jello, or some other things that they enjoyed at at those clubs in the '80s. But yeah, Montana's really hot. Too bad her talent doesn't match, how hot she is. Because Tatiana's gonna ragdoll her here probably.
Yeah.
And get that decision. I don't know if she'll be able to get a what do you call it, a submission.
Yeah, I don't know because she's a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, Montana.
Yeah. Then again, like betting on this thing, -700. God damn, that's a lot. It kind of makes you want to bet on Montana La Rosa, but then you have to remember this is women's MMA, so don't go there. Keep your hands in your pockets and just wait till a better betting opportunity, possibly the week after comes along.
You forgot Tatiana by decision?
Probably, yeah. I would say that's probably. She might get her by submission, but I would say more likely than not, she'll just like grapple fuck her, try to get a feel for the cage and what it means. I mean, she may ground and pound her. I hope not, because Montana's pretty cute. I'd like her to stay that way. But yeah, Tatiana by decision.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add is that if she comes out here and like actually quickly takes care of business against Montana, like
Mm-hmm.
say for example a submission, like she does, like legitimately she trains with Patchy Mix, and Patchy Mix might be the new champion in Bellator, the bantamweight champ. So I'd like to see if that actually helped her out, like overall, just training with her boyfriend. So yeah, I'm interested in
Yeah.
seeing how she comes back. Let's move on. Heavyweight bout.
Is that what she calls getting her cheeks clapped training?
I think so actually. But let's move on. Heavyweight bout: Augusto Sakai versus Dante Lord Kong Mays. What a fucking shit show this one is. This is literally like I know me gusta, senor. Uh, even right now, -110, -110. Actually, I think the slight money's come on Augusto Sakai. Augusto, he is damaged goods, but I think he's got better volume. I think he's fought the better competition, man. Dontel Mays lost to fucking Hamdi. Hamdi, what the hell's his last name? Hamdi Abdel
Abdul
Wahab. Oh my
Wahab.
god, his best win is Josh Parisian, where he fucked him with his cup to the face. He beat Rocky Martinez. Like, he's so unreliable, man. Like, for real. Like, you can think, like, you know what? Let's just say Augusto Sakai's chin is just fucking whacked, and a slight breeze is going to take care of it. I don't trust Dontel Mays to go out and do that. I think if you're planning on Dontel Mays to come out here and knock out Augusto Sakai because his chin is weak, he's going to go fucking wrestle him, because he has been doing that. He's been wrestling more, and shit. That would be a smart game plan. Like, Augusto Sakai, not necessarily that he's got terrible takedown defense. It's just that, yeah, if you want to out wrestle him, why not? Like, I just do what you can with him. Like, he is damaged goods, but on the feet, I think Sakai is going to be slightly better. Protect the chin, and he wins. I don't want to touch this one, man. Like, I think Sakai wins by a decision. I think it'd be very smart if it goes over. So I might take the over on this one, because I think it does go to a decision. I think Dontel Mays might be a little like dumb and try to go for takedowns, and Augusto Sakai is going to try to be tentative to not get knocked out, because he's lost 4 in a row by knockout. So I think the decision or the over might be the best way to play this one. I don't see either guy going out there like risking losing. So I'll go Sakai by a decision, but I'm not looking forward to this one at all. It's going to be, I hope I'm wrong. I hope they go out there and just say, screw it, let's go swang and bang, and their chins hold up, and we get a beautiful display of violence, but I don't see that happening. So decision, Sakai for me.
Yeah, same thing for me. I mean, getting a win over Roque Martinez and Josh Parisian isn't exactly, doesn't exactly give you any confidence in this guy. I mean, he's got the look like, oh man, this guy's got to be a killer. But then when he loses to Rodrigo Nascimento, I guess he lost to Cyril Game, bro, so that's not that bad. But losing to old Hamdi by split decision, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Hamdi's 3-0, dude.
Fucking Hamdi, man. Fucking the Egyptian god himself, Hamdi. Even though it got overturned, I was like pissed off. They're like, I never got that money back I had on the boy, Lord Kong. So fuck him.
Yeah, he's shit. What's that guy's name? Like, he used to be like, the big. He used to look like the big fucking destroyer in Pride, and then everybody beat the shit out of him. Like the big black dude,
yeah,
black dude.
The oh my god, I'm seeing his face right now. Oh my
Forgot his
god,
goddamn name.
not Gary Goodrich. That's not him.
No.
He was the longest yard. It sucks that I forgot his name, dude.
Anyway,
Bob Sapp.
yeah. So
Bob Sapp.
Yeah, but he's like, it's like, is he Bob Sapp's son or some shit? And it's fucking crazy that they're near even. Like, this should be Augusto. If Augusto Sakai fucking loses this, dude.
I mean, well,
I don't know, man.
If he loses it, he's obviously not in the UFC anymore. But like, does he retire? Man, like, no, man. He should not be a near pick'em against Dontel Mays. But like, this is 2023, and he's got lots of mileage on him now, man. I'm like, God,
yeah,
poor guy.
Yeah, his last 4 losses have been tough, but it's just like Johnny Walker made a comeback. He might too against Dontel Mays. You never know. But he's, again, I'm not this guy's coach or manager. I don't know what the fuck is going on in their personal lives to fuck up their career so bad. So, but I think he's got enough to take this by decision. At the very least, man, he's got to win this shit. 4 losses in a row, losing to this guy. Yeah, man, he should just dig a hole in the sand and stick his head in, because he's done, man. I'll take him by decision. Sakai, that is.
All right, moving on. Sleepy boy. Co-main event, we've got Andre Muniz versus Brendan Allen. Minus 190 for Muniz. Comeback on Allen is a plus 160. I'll get to it really, because there's not really much to say about these two. They're both good grapplers, both black belts. I think the edge in the overall grappling is Andre Muniz, whether it be on top control, whether it be taking the back, whether it be going for arm bars, or even from the bottom. I think he's just overall better. Striking advantage is going to go to Brendan Allen. The issue with Brendan Allen, though, is that he makes so many dumb mistakes, and he's just kind of a wonky guy, man. Like, his chin is a little weird. Like, the guy can take punches clean from Punahele, but like I don't know what it is about him. Like he kind of wants to prove himself against certain competition, and he puts himself in bad spots. So Sean Strickland knocks him out, and then his, as my good friend PayPal My Money said, his Robin, being Chris Curtis, knocks him out as well. So we've got the Batman in Sean Strickland and his Robin in Chris Curtis. They both have wins over Brendan Allen by TKO. If we're being frank, I'm going to go with Muniz, potentially either by late submission or by decision. The main reason is that like I did not like what I saw from Malkoon and Jotko when it came to really controlling Brandon Allen on the ground. Like, yes, Brandon was able to get some reversals. He was able to sweep Jotko, which eventually like got back up, took him down, choked him out, which is all fine and dandy. I don't know if he's going to have that same kind of success against a guy like Muniz, who the fucker will make fucking sure that you are in position for either a submission or you're not going to go anywhere. And I think Muniz, who, his striking's not great, I think he will be able to out wrestle Brandon Allen. I think they can be close where Brandon Allen can try to like sweep and reverse, but I think overall Andre is going to continue to have the dominant position. I'm going to go with Andre Muniz by a decision. Again, Brandon Allen, I feel as if like he could be winning on the feet, and he wants to test himself against a guy like Muniz, and he goes for a takedown, gets reversed or swept, and can land up in like a horrible position. And Andre broke the arm of jiu-jitsu legend Jacare. What's to say he won't do the same thing to Brendan Allen? So I'm going to stick with the decision just because I think it's going to be a little closer. This is definitely the best competition that Muniz has fought, and I use that with an asterisk because we don't know which Brendan Allen we're going to get. We can get the best version of Allen, who can submit almost anyone in the division, or we're going to get the idiot that decides that like it's a good idea to strike with these guys and get caught. So I'll go with Muniz by decision on this one.
Yeah, I can pretty much see Muniz getting his arm raised here. I don't think he'll be able to submit or even TKO Brendan Allen, but I do see him winning here. He's got some miles on him. He's got some good wins, but yeah, I don't think it's Brendan Allen's just time just yet. I mean, his last few wins against Jotko, Malkoon, and he actually finished Sam Alvey. So
No, I mean that's pretty impressive. No one finishes Sam Alvey.
well, yeah, I know that's the joke. It's Sam Alvey is like the Sami Zayn of the UFC. For those of you who don't follow wrestling, look up Sami Zayn. He's just like well, I think didn't he retire? I think he retired.
He just main evented an event yesterday, dude.
Sam Alvey?
Oh, you mean Sam Alvey? I thought you said Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sami Zayn or Sam Alvey. He's a substitute teacher now, I think, for PE.
Yeah, it's like he retired. Yeah, no, Sami Zayn, he's done something. I don't know who the fuck knows what he did. But Sam Alvey, yeah, man, he. Funny enough, he was like beating guys like Rashad Evans and other guys you'd expect like, that's kind of fucking weird that you would beat him. And so he was just like the the awkward guy that guys just didn't know how to beat or something. Or I don't know what the fuck's going on there. But anyway, suffice it to say, he submitted him, rear naked choke. But Andre Muniz is not Sam Alvey, man. This guy's he's not like Andre Muniz reminds me a little bit of what's Little Frankenstein? What the hell's his name? Rafael
Dos Anjos.
Dos Anjos, yeah. To a certain extent. He's I mean Rafael in his prime, man, dude, he beat the shit out of out of Perez.
I was pissed off, dude. Like,
yeah, man.
That's when I knew like this motherfucker ain't who he says he is.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of Perez. Didn't Rafael also beat the shit out of Nate Diaz? No, or did they ever fight?
Rafael beat the shit out of a lot of guys, dude.
I remember, man.
God,
in his prime, when he finally got like the training, I guess he never got before then. It's like, oh, you shit, man, this guy,
Yeah.
And then he never got his big fight against McGregor. I think that would have been, great. Instead, he got the shit beat out of him by Eddie, what's his name?
Eddie Alvarez.
Eddie fucking weird eyebrows Alvarez.
Eddie the Reggaeton eyebrows, Alvarez.
Yeah, yeah,
Fuck.
dude, big fucking, it's like he looks like, I don't know what the fuck it is now, but now I'm seeing all these girls with tarantulas on their faces. At least that's what I call them, like those big eyelashes,
Mhm.
like those overly cartoonish eyelashes. And I'm like, God damn, those things look scary. I
Is
don't
it
know
like
why
an
they think it looks.
it's like an
Huh?
LA thing or something? I haven't seen that out here in
I don't know. It's
undisclosed
LA and
location.
here in Arizona as well. It's very like apparent. Like I don't understand why they're like, I've always seen girls with like the smaller, I guess maybe smaller version of those things.
Mhm.
It's like where it makes their eyelashes look fuller, I guess. But
Oh, okay.
now it's like I'm seeing the big like hoary ones like on everybody, on like a lot of girls, like the big giant ones where if you see those things like on a kitchen table or something, you're gonna like run for a sandal or like the raid or some shit. It's weird. It's freaky. I don't know how the fuck I got. Wait, how did I get into that?
Eddie Alvarez and his eyebrows.
Eddie
Eddie keeps fucking
freaking
everything up, man.
Eddie. Yeah, man, fucking weirdo.
Him and his
But
wife.
anyway, um, yeah, but Andre, yeah, but Andre reminds me a little bit of of him, as in like I think he's got it in him. If he goes to train with Rafael Cordero, maybe he'll turn him into the next little Frankenstein in the
Hopefully,
championship.
hopefully it's not that he needs a like titanium chin because I think that's yeah after oh wait when was it? Yeah, after Clay Guida broke his jaw, I think that's when he kind of started putting shit together. So hopefully that's not what happens to Muniz. But
Mm,
yeah, good comparison though. He
yeah.
does kind of look like him, a little Frankenstein. So you got
Yeah, but I think Andre's gonna probably end up submitting him rear naked choke in probably like the second round. I would
uh,
say.
I really hope so because like I kind of don't like Brendan Allen. Like I've got a really strong allegiance to Sean Strickland and Chris Curtis, so I'd love it if they got another finish on this motherfucker. But let's move on to the main event. The main event is like a fucky fight. We've got light heavyweight bout Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann, the miner versus Superman. It's kind of funny. The miner is like I damn, my mind just kind of went in million miles a minute. Like, if, for example, Superman or Ryan Spann beats up Nikita Krylov, the headline would be like Ryan Spann touches a minor. But I was thinking that minor is, I think, a character from The Incredibles, but which is like, I guess, a superhero versus superhero type of matchup. But the odds are minus 160 for Krylov. Come back on Ryan Spann is a plus 135. And really, this one is pretty fucking close. And the reason for it is that I guess Ryan Spann is now officially training. He is full training camp Ryan Spann, and he's looked pretty solid the last two fights. Like he's gotten first round knock or first round finishes. He got a submission over. It's not as impressive, really, if you really think about it, between Dominic Reyes and Ian Kutalaba, because they both kind of have really not had the best run as of late. Uh, but that knockout of Reyes was devastating, man. Like the jab that cracked him and knocked him out, like it really made Spann look incredible. Like, damn, this guy might be telling the truth about actually training for the first time, but dude's full of shit. Absolutely. He could not have made it this way without training. But the guy's got good chokes, especially that front choke of his. He's got power. I mean, he's got that prison strength after he served time for killing Reyes. The guy hits really hard, and that's what really makes this fight kind of interesting. And Krylov, on the other hand, like the guy's got the karate background, like he's got the good grappling himself. Like they're both very good fighters, and it really is worthy of a main event for a lower type of fight night. It's just betting wise, it could be tricky because Ryan Spann, if you want to believe the hype, yeah, the minus or the plus 135 is a good value on the guy. But doing my tape watch on him, I don't necessarily believe he's a new man. I really don't see it. I think he's just the same guy, but he's been getting ridiculous finishes. Like going back and watching the fight with him and Anthony Smith, like he cracks Anthony Smith. But the moment Anthony Smith says like fuck it, because like kind of the story behind that was that Ryan Spann was trying to punk Anthony Smith, and Anthony Smith being half black, and he's like, this shit reminds me of my cousins when they try to punk me, essentially for being half white and looking like a pig. Um, it really, like, at that moment he's like, I'm standing up to my cousins, my bullies, and the moment he did that, he cracks Ryan Spann, and then it was just downhill for the guy after that. Like Ryan Spann, super fucking suspect chin. Another thing about Ryan Spann, he keeps his Instagram on private. What is he hiding? What is he hiding? Like, what's going on with Ryan Spann? I like Ryan, I really do. I think he's a fun fighter to watch, but I just think that his issues are still there. Like, he's a very mental fighter. Like, if he's not having a good day mentally, it'll show up in the cage. Like, this guy can knock dudes out and submit them, but I get the feeling that he's not all there yet. Like, another wait and see moment with Ryan Spann. If he comes out here and he finishes Krylov, oh shit, like that's a big deal. Krylov is a good fighter. He's lost to a lot of good guys and he's beaten a lot of good guys. Like, I mentioned his losses because like he's fought the top of the division, and I don't necessarily think that Ryan Spann has, and he's lost to the kind of the worst of the division. Like fucking, like for real, like Johnny Walker, like he boneheaded mistake. His fight IQ was horrible there. He hasn't finished, and then he lets himself get knocked out. Anthony Smith, oh man, going back and watching that fight, like if it was brutal, man. It was brutal for Ryan Spann. Krylov, what made me kind of sure that he was going to win this fight is that he took some nasty shots in his last fight against Volkan Oezdemir, and he survived them, and he was smart enough to clinch up. His grappling is very fucking solid himself. And I think if he pushes a pace on Ryan Spann, if say they are exchanging and Ryan Spann connects, but Nikita Krylov like gets a little dazed and he throws a punch back, I think his punch is going to daze Ryan Spann himself. Again, I think Spann's chin is fucking suspect as hell, and I really think that Krylov can get him out of there in the first two rounds. I think if say things go to the worst, Krylov will then wrestle, and, once on his back, I think Krylov won't really necessarily have much to worry about because his main weapon are like the front chokes, the guillotines and shit, which is a great weapon for Ryan Spann. I just don't see him, throwing his legs up for a triangle. So I'm gonna go with Nikita Krylov mainly to just stand up to Ryan Spann, who I think he's kind of got that bully mentality. He's going to be the bigger guy here by what, 2 inches, longer reach. Just don't get knocked out, which Krylov's never been knocked out. He's been submitted before, which, I am worried that if he takes a sloppy shot, he can get choked out. But he's never been knocked out. Don't get knocked out, and I think he wins this fight. So I'll go with Krylov by a second round TKO.
I'm also going with Nikita here. The only thing to really watch out for is that jab, man, because
shit's fucking stiff as fuck, dude.
If he's working on that jab, then he might be fucked. Because, dude, 5 rounds of getting just pummeled with jab, that might be too much for anyone to take. I'm hoping. I mean, I believe Nikita's actually gonna win at least three rounds. If he go, I think it's going to decision, but I think Nikita's gonna get at least 3 rounds. The other 2 rounds are gonna go, to that stiff jab, I think. But I am hoping, Ryan Spann gets it to the top 10, or I mean, not to the top 10, top 5 at some point, so he can get a better artist to, do that Superman tattoo on his chest, or trace over it, or do something that doesn't look too good.
Well, who do you think has worse tattoos? The current champion Jamal Hill with those 2 thumbs on his chest, or Ryan Spann with that Superman?
I honestly couldn't tell. I knew I could tell it was something, but like that choice of color ink, I don't think works best on that canvas, so to speak. But yeah, they're both pretty bad.
So what's your official? You said Nikita?
Yeah, I would say Nikita by decision. I think he's gonna get 3 of the 5 rounds.
All right, that'd be interesting to see if it goes all 5. But we've been doing this for about almost 2 hours. My sign is now flashing the rainbow color, so that's time for us to go. And you can get some sleep now, Jose. But yeah, it's been Johnny, Jose, Tiger Bomb MMA. Wait, I should probably change this over so when I'm editing this, I know that we're about to end. But yeah, anything you want to add before we go?
Not really. Hopefully, we can find time to do this earlier
Yeah, dude,
in
I
the
know you.
week.
It's yeah, from what you've been telling me, you've been working fucking hard, and I don't work as hard anymore, but I've had a lot of time to tape watch and stuff, so I get a little bit better at gambling, but I think this card is going to I I'm gonna say this now. I think this card has a possibility of like manhandling me. I just have to not be an idiot. But the odds of that happening are slim to none, my friend. I will make a dumbass mistake. But yeah, Johnny Jose, Tiger Bomb MMA, leave whatever you want. All right. Catch you next week.